Hi. So I just wanted to make a shorter version of the videos that I made, like a part one and part two, about these government agencies basically getting you to willingly comply so that they can spy in your life and then try to create blockages for you so that you don't move ahead, especially as some people call a chosen one. I don't really like saying that stuff because I don't want people to start thinking like we're differentiating ourselves from average people, even though technically that kind of is true a little bit, a lot, I should say. But we all have different missions here, and some people don't even think on that level of there actually being more of a purpose to our existence in life than us just breathing and eating and shitting and sleeping. And sometimes effing, if you know what I'm saying. Intimacy. Sex. Segs. Anyways, I'm saying I showed a video about basically going through this list, this chicken scratch list of stuff that I wrote out, showing how I figured out these organizations were in cahoots with each other, which is easy to figure out without me even making these notes, because you could just off of other people's experiences in life, that some of these government agencies pick and choose who they'll bully and play around with, while at the same time portraying to be somebody that they're not. For instance, the police department being set up as a police department that's there to serve and protect the community. Meanwhile, they're the ones that's out there dictating some of the crimes that happen in the streets. And then on one hand, they'll work with criminals, but then when they don't like you, all of a sudden they'll orchestrate it to make it where they try to take you down. And in the public's eye, because it's like the public is under this spell of these police officers are out here to try to help you. I'm not saying, and trust me guys, not trust me, but please hear me out, that I do not believe that all police officers are bad people, because I've actually come into contact with some really nice ones. Mostly they were sheriffs, which is telling as to why they are a sheriff. They obviously made it through other trainings and got to a certain point where other regular basic officers couldn't get to. But even some sheriffs be compromised morally as well. But I just wanted to share this stuff though, so I don't think every single person that in these government agencies are corrupt. Just for instance, they'll have a police department, they have a lot of corrupt ones. Then a good one will come where they actually are morally upright and correct. But some of them get compromised because they want to fit in with the guys. They don't want to lose their job. They have a family to take care of, and if they don't buckle down and get with their program, then they're at risk of losing their job and stuff going down the drain of what they worked hard to accomplish. So they just settle and become like the rest. And then there's some that actually try to do the right thing, but then people orchestrate it for them to get fired, or for them to be framed and suspended, or fired, terminated from their job, and made to look like they're the bad guy when, because that has happened to me at jobs so I know that other good officers and doctors and lawyers, they might go through the same, they do go through the same thing. I was just saying might because of the lawyers, because most of them I thought are independent, except for the ones who work for the state that get funded by our tax dollars. So, like the public defenders and stuff like that, because I had a really good public defender. That was God back then, where they tried to pin a assault case on me because my family sided with my ex-husband to go against me. And yeah, I should have never trusted them again after that. But I was a family-oriented individual where I love my family no matter what. Like, my love was stronger than their betrayal. Thank you, Horn. Outside. But my love for them was stronger than their betrayal and hatred for me, I assume, or their jealousy or envy and wanted me to go down. I found that stuff out later because I refused to see it. I was like, no, this is my family. They don't really mean that. Yes, the F they did. Maybe one of them, the other one that got treated like me, he the only one that seems caring and sweet towards me, because he was also treated the same way. I love both of my brothers. I love all my family, but my brothers, they kind of didn't get as involved in that BS like my sisters did, unfortunately. I guess that's just the cattiness of women. But I never really was like a normal, I was more of a tomboy when I was younger anyways. and I mostly had male friends. So, and I was hanging around a lot of men, not like a slut, but like, see, thank you, horn, outside. I don't know if y'all can hear that. But anyways, I'm just briefly talking about this stuff, like showing how the government has, like, say, like, if you're getting government assistance because you're being gang stalked and they're making it hard for you to get a job, but you don't want to go off the grid and withdraw all the contracts you have by rescinding your signature and all that other stuff people talk about doing to remove yourself from the corporation of the United States by no longer operating with the Social Security and using your birth certificate and signing contracts to partner up with DMV by having a contract with them using a state ID and a license. They don't 555. They don't even want you to know about that stuff even existing, so that when people like me come along and we talk about it, we sound crazy to you. Like, what do they talk about? They'll be like, oh, it's another one of those. Because some people that are corrupt, they fuck it up in that area too. When you try to do contract law and trust law, I was dealing with the dude from Malachian Empire on that shit. His punk ass doing me dirty, just like he's a gang stalker basically. He's not to be trusted, but to each his own. Everybody has their own experience, but from what I experienced with the last 2 years dealing with those individuals on a second time, yeah, I know that they're not upright. But so I just wanted to talk about this briefly, about how basically I feel like the therapist, they forced me to go to a psychiatric hospital and forcefully took my son from me. Made me have to go to their little groups and classes and jump through all these hoops to get my son back. Once I did get my son back, the therapist, in his little punk ass ego, decided to make a false claim after ignoring my safety concerns for where I live, for my son and I. He neglected to do so. Then made a false report, and how I know it was false, because the reasons that they opened this DHS investigation in the first place is over bullshit. Because he's a licensed professional, and he went and he was sharing shit that I was saying with somebody else that was compromised. They decided to say, oh, she must be experiencing signs of psychosis again, so she need to be investigated because she missed one night of sleep and said her family is in a cult. When they told me that that's what the people reported from that Kelly DeBruin counseling, I knew they was full of shit for even opening the case. The woman that act like I did so well, she even wrote a report on my behalf that sound like it was so positive. And for her to come back and try to play with me like she is, Christina Shannon, and act like ain't nothing going on, and she don't know what's going on, but she in on it too. That's why she ain't say nothing either. Neither did my lawyer, and my lawyer knew at first that Miss Christina had took a liking to me. So I know they took note of that the woman from the DHS, because she did stuff to help us out big time, but now all of a sudden she's in this sneaky energy. And I found out some of the people, they did that so that when they come back and do some fuck shit, I wouldn't suspect them as being the individuals that were I lost the words I was going to say, but the ones that were working against me, so I didn't suspect them, so it can be easier. But anyways, they had my therapist make a false claim, and I was like, if me saying that my family's in a cult means I'm psychotic, I'd hate to know, like, what I know that the reason why there's rapists still free out here is because they believe anything. They'd be like, oh no, he wasn't raped, she consented. You might as well fucking say that. How these people treated this situation with my son and I, saying they basically have a false investigation open to hinder me from getting certain jobs, because I told my therapist I wanted to do something like what he's doing, but I mentioned about me going back in the medical field, and I told him about them closing I lost my other job because that case was open. When he saw I was doing better, like I was happier and stuff like that, and I wasn't drinking and smoking, it's like he got this jealousy streak about him, and he was becoming a black man hater as usual. And plus I'm a woman at that. He seems like one of those type of men that women should not be doing better than men. It's like he felt insecure the way he was acting, like he was squeamish, and it's almost like he wanted to roll his eyes. And I even have a photo of when he was trying to play me and act like my end was messing up. It shows his facial expression. You could see obviously he didn't really care much about his job, or at least talking to me and hearing what I was saying. The photo clearly shows that, because I took a screenshot to show him how I know it's not my end that was messing up, and I found it in my drive and saw that I still had it. It makes me crack up laughing, because it is self-explanatory when you see that photo. He don't give a damn. But anyways, him making that false claim, he was in my business, y'all. So him being in my business, if somebody wanted to compromise my life, all they have to do, he knows so much information about my life that he was able to use it against me. And even if he told a lie, he twisted what I said. I never said my family is in a cult. And he just said that. So if all it takes is somebody saying, oh, she said her family's in a cult, for you to open a fucking fake ass false CPS investigation and say she missed one night of sleep, so she must be showing some signs of psychosis again, because the first psychosis was induced from a mental breakdown of the people harassing me and bullying me here, all in cahoots with the people who lived here, and some of them lived here who worked here at the apartments where I live, and the police did nothing about it. They ignored me and put me on a mental hold and took me to the hospital against my will. They didn't even properly assess me. Fucking retarded ass. Oh my gosh, never mind. 11:33. So I'm just gonna get off of here, guys, before I go over the time again. I just wanted to show like how, like, basically the people that were here at the apartment complex, they kept saying, oh, it's time for you to do a recertification again. It's an annual recertification. Why are we doing it 4 months apart? And then the next year, they trying to have me do 2 certifications. I caught the dude in a lie, Jordanos Lincoln, or Jordanos Lincoln. He goes by JJ Lincoln, here at the Louisa Flowers Apartments. And so I told him I was recording 12:12 again on the clock. Once I told him I was recording, he didn't say anything like, well, why are you recording us? He didn't fight. His body language dropped, and he put his head down like, oh, fuck. He was caught. He did it. He responded and reacted as if somebody that had been caught in the midst of meddling, being menacing, and didn't think that someone was wise enough to get proof of it in some kind of way. Because he didn't know I came in there with my phone recording when I had the stroller. I just walked in there and I told him I was recording. As soon as I told him I was recording, after he said what he said, he dropped his neck. He was like, damn. Then he was silent for it. He just heard what I got to say. Then he had this embarrassed. His face went flush a little bit because he kind of light skinned. I don't know. He might be Somali or something like that, or Ethiopian. But he looked like he's kind of like, if he's African American, he do have that in his blood heavily. It's like maybe Somalian. So he was one of those people from another country. And I found some of those guys here, they don't like American women because they feel a certain way about American women compared to women that are in Africa, which is understandable. But all of us are not like that, y'all. But he was trying to play some game. He thought he had the upper hand. And when he saw I was wise enough to get some sort of proof, he was silent after that. So that just spoke volumes. And then the game ceased that they were playing with me, trying to say no. So if you don't do this, you're going to get put out, basically. They was trying to get me put out for I don't know how long. And I kept fighting. I'm tired of this shit. That's why I said I'd rather be fucking homeless and find another way than to be staying in this bitch while y'all got y'all eyes on me, watching me every fucking second, seeing when I come and when I go, fucking with my car. Ain't nobody doing a damn thing about it. So I said, you know what? I'm out this motherfucker then. So yeah. So I'm just telling y'all, they were being nosy. They did recertifications just so that they can be in my pockets to see what I got going on. Where do I work? How much money do I make? How long have I been working there? Where am I working? What's the supervisor's name? 1414 on the clock. Just so that they can go and report to somebody, or they themselves block me in some kind of way from having forward movement or progress. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to show, like how some of these apartments operate. Of course, that's not how all apartments operate, because everybody's not on some sort of government assistance, but some of us had to be on government assistance because we have kids and we're trying to protect our children, and at least show that we care enough to not just go off grid without no experience, and like they struggle, and if they need medical care, if we don't have insurance, they turn us away. So sometimes people are not on government assistance because they're lazy and they want to be. They saw us trying to get off government assistance and move forward, so they made blockages in so many different areas because they watching me like a fucking hawk, bro. And this is happening to other people. That's why I'm making this video. And so when they got in my life, the therapist was able to make a false claim. The people that live here, they all up in my business and know shit too. 15:15 on the clock when I say that, then they're telling me if I'm on benefits, I have to be forced to go work, to deal with these organizations, these community, state and government organizations. And if they're being funded with each other, the funding, it's like a circle, basically. It's a cycle and a circle. If this company's funding that company's funding this company works with that company, and they're all in cahoots, is basically what I was trying to show. So that's it.